Amazon keeps prices artificially high. That is what the state of California alleges in a lawsuit filed Wednesday against the world's largest online retailer. The lawsuit argues that the company violates antitrust law by blocking price competition and pushing up prices for consumers. California's Attorney General Rob Bonta said Amazon's rules bar merchants from selling products at lower prices on their own websites or at the stores of Amazon's rivals, adding, quote, "Through its actions, the Everything Store has effectively set a price floor, costing Californians more for pretty much everything." In response, an Amazon spokesperson said the lawsuit should be dismissed, adding, quote, "The California Attorney General has it exactly backwards. Sellers set their own prices for the products they offer in our store." Amazon grew even bigger during the health crisis, with over 200 million users as Prime members, paying for faster shipping and other benefits. In its lawsuit, Bonta's office asked the court to prohibit Amazon from enforcing Amazon contracts that bar the sale of goods more cheaply elsewhere and to pay damages and penalties. Washington, D.C. filed a similar lawsuit against Amazon in May 2021. Amazon won dismissal of it earlier this year. The California lawsuit is based on different laws. Amazon offered to make changes to stave off California's lawsuit, but Bonta deemed them unsatisfactory.
The world is now in the best position yet to finally end the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to the head of the World Health Organization on Wednesday.
We have never been in a better position to end the pandemic. We're not there yet, but the end is in sight.
His comment marks the agency's most upbeat view yet since it first declared an international emergency more than 2.5 years ago. Last week's COVID deaths were the lowest since March of 2020. The virus has killed nearly 6.5 million people and infected more than 600 million after emerging in China in late 2019. It's roiled economies and overwhelmed healthcare systems. Vaccines and therapies have helped stem deaths and hospitalizations, and the Omicron variant and its subvariants have caused less serious disease. Still, WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus urged vigilance, saying countries need to strengthen policies, vaccinate high-risk groups, and keep testing, comparing the effort to running a marathon.
We can see the finish line. We are in a winning position, but now is the worst time to stop running. Now is the time to run harder and make sure we cross the line and reap the rewards of all our hard work.
With 1 million COVID deaths this year alone, the pandemic remains a global emergency. The WHO will convene experts in October to decide if the pandemic should remain at its highest level of alert.
A Chicago court found R&B singer R. Kelly guilty of sex crimes on Wednesday, including multiple charges of child pornography and luring underage girls to have sex with him. In his latest trial, Kelly faced a total of 13 counts, 7 of which he was acquitted of, including obstruction of justice and conspiracy to receive child pornography. The verdict came after jurors deliberated for 11 hours over 2 days. In Chicago, a conviction of just 1 count of child pornography carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years. During the 5-week trial, several women took the stand and told jurors that Kelly sexually abused them when they were minors. The jury also saw a video of Kelly molesting his goddaughter, who testified that the abuse began in the 1990s when she was a teenager. In June, Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison on his conviction in a New York federal court on racketeering and prostitution charges. Kelly also faces various state charges in Illinois and Minnesota.
She's been a rock that's always been there. You know, politicians change, wars have happened, but the Queen has always been there. And it's the end of an era. And King Charles will make a great king, but that's a new era. So we're saying goodbye to her one.
So she's a motivational individual, inspirational woman. She has that magic about her, much more than monarchy. She's an icon of icons. So I must at least endure this and pay her the respect. And when I get there, remove this and then say my prayers and say, she's been an angel. Angels take her home. That's what I feel.
U.S. stocks closed modestly higher on Wednesday, staggering back from the worst sell-off in more than 2 years in the previous session, as the latest inflation data from the Labor Department landed close to estimates, providing some relief in the aftermath of Tuesday's hotter-than-expected CPI report. The Dow rose just 0.1%, the S&P 500 gained 1/3, while the Nasdaq ended about 0.75% higher. Sam Stovall, chief investment strategist at CFRA Research, said producer prices data out Wednesday calmed investors' nerves after Tuesday's carnage.
The PPI did come in a little bit better than expected on a year-over-year basis, which sort of undoes some of the CPI excitement from yesterday. But I think it's going to have no effect whatsoever on the decision made by the FOMC at next week's meeting. And I think the Fed will certainly need to see a series of economic indicators which point to a slowdown in economic growth and a reduction in the overall inflation rate.
While most mega-cap stocks bounced back from Tuesday's drop, Meta Platforms extended losses, and shares of social media rival Snap also fell. Shares of Tesla jumped more than 3.5% on the same day President Joe Biden announced $900 million in funding for electric vehicle charging stations. And shares of Starbucks rose 5.5% after the company upped its 3-year profit and sales outlook.